Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Madison Carmouche. One man is behind bars after a shooting in Laurel County. Officials say on Saturday, 21-year-old Joseph C. Brewer shot 21-year-old Jaden Jackson in an apartment road rage incident. Doyle Suffrage says it was a scary thing to witness in his front yard. He adds he thinks a bullet ended up striking his home.
Well, it's kind of scary in a way. I think we found a bullet hole over there in my house at about 20 or 30 feet away there that, you know, when he shot, I guess it either went through the boy or that got shot and hit the siding on my house. We were pretty sure that that's where the bullet hole was.
Sulfridge says stuff like this does not happen in his community. A man accused of killing a Kentucky sheriff's deputy is now charged with promoting contraband in jail. Jailers at the Bourbon County Regional Detention Center say they found 3 metal objects in Stephen Sheehan-Shang's cell. Deputies found the objects after following up on a tip that a hole was made in the bathroom to, quote, gain access to an outside facility. Investigators say the objects could have been used as weapons. Sheehan-Shang is charged with murder for Scott County Deputy Caleb Connolly's death. Connolly was shot and killed in May 2023. In Louisville, a now former Baptist Health Hospital worker is accused of stealing credit cards from patients. Court documents said Lauren Miller stole at least $1,500 from 5 victims. A team from Baptist Health was able to match Miller's work schedule in the critical care unit to the times when the thefts happened. St. Matthews police say some of the patients were very sick and sometimes even sedated during the thefts.
In several instances, they did, once they became more conscious, realize that the cards were missing or that there was items missing out of their wallet or even the whole wallet was missing. They reported that to us.
In a statement from Baptist Health, they said Miller is no longer employed by the hospital and they would not share any additional information.
It's been a nice day across eastern Kentucky today. We had saw temperatures in the high 80s and even some low 90s. I'm going to take you over to our observed temperatures for today. 88 Hazard, 86 Jackson, 90 in Somerset, 91 in Harlan. So above average temperatures, our average are 85, but current temperatures right now pretty cool, mid 70s everywhere. 76 in Monticello, 76 in Jackson, and 77 in Pikeville. Clear outside on live pinpoint Doppler. Just a little bit of clutter, but all that rain from earlier has moved out. We want you to download that WYMT First Alert weather app. It's going to give you a planner like this. That QR code in the top right will take you there. That just shows that we're going to be cool going into tomorrow before we warm back up into the 90s. But coming up in just a few minutes, I'm going to tell you about how it's been a beautiful Sunday, how it's going to feel a little sweaty outside coming up, and that our rain chances for the work week do increase as we get to the middle of the week. Madison?
All right, Drake, thank you. Today, there's new evidence skepticism among President Joe Biden's allies is widening. CBS News sources tell us at least 4 more Democratic congressmen called on the president to drop out of the race during a meeting with House Democratic leaders today. CBS's Natalie Brand is traveling with the president. She's in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, where Mr. Biden campaigned today.
Mingling with union members in Harrisburg and volunteers.
We got a lot to do, folks, but we can do it.
The president is trying to prove the viability of his re-election campaign and joked about his age while speaking before a friendly audience at a church service in Philadelphia earlier Sunday.
I know I won't look like I'm 40 years old, but I've been around a little bit.
But across this battleground state and even within this campaign event, voters are divided.
I love you, Joe Biden. I worked hard on your campaign, but I think it's time for you to step down.
Are you worried about President Biden's ability to continue his campaign?
Not at all. And I think for him to leave the race at this time, so close to the convention, the Democratic convention, it would be very confusing for a lot of people.
I do think the clock is ticking.
Allies of the president describe a critical week ahead as lawmakers return to Washington and discuss next steps.
I wish he could jump up the steps on Air Force One. He can't. What we have got to focus on is policy.
The performance on the debate stage, I think, rightfully raised questions among the American people about whether the president has the vigor to defeat Donald Trump.
CBS News has learned that during a call Sunday afternoon with House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, several senior House Democrats said they think the president should exit the race. That's in addition to the 5 House Democrats who have put out public statements. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
President Biden will spend much of this week at NATO's 75th anniversary in Washington, D.C. The focus of the summit is to reassure Ukraine that its 32 member countries will continue to support its fight against Russia as the war grinds on for more than 2 years. NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg says he's already spoken with President Biden and believes the summit will be productive.
We prepared all the important decisions we'll make here on defense, on support for Ukraine, and not least on burden sharing that European allies are now really stepping up and spending record amount of money on defense, and of course also on China and how we need to work together.
The NATO summit runs through Tuesday until Thursday. Second gentleman Doug Emhoff was diagnosed with was tested positive for COVID-19. A spokesperson says Emhoff is experiencing mild symptoms. His wife, Vice President Harris, has tested negative for the virus. Emhoff is fully vaccinated and has received boosters 3 times. He is isolating at home and working remotely. The couple were with President Biden and the First Lady last Thursday to help celebrate Independence Day. And today marks what would have been the 78th wedding anniversary for former President Jimmy Carter and former First Lady Rosalynn Carter. This makes it Carter's first wedding anniversary since her passing in November 2023. On his 75th birthday in 1999, Jimmy Carter said the most important decision he ever made in his life was marrying Rosalynn. Coming up at 11, people in the United States are now bracing for impact as Tropical Storm Beryl is expected to make landfall in Texas.
We will see the 90s return into the forecast tomorrow and even possibly see some impacts from Beryl in the middle of the week. I'll have more in just a few minutes.